This is the Walk-Thru, powered by Triple F Elite Sports Training. Train like a pro. Your all-access pass to the biggest games, hottest stories, and everything high school football in East Tennessee. From the Friday night lights to the chase for championships, we bring you the stars, the headlines, and every heart-pounding moment. So strap on that chin strap and get ready. Jesse, Paige, and the 5-Star Preps team are here with the most complete high school football coverage in the state. This is the Walk-Thru.
Welcome into the Walk-Thru, getting ready for week 5. You can count it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Jesse. And still, we're here at Triple F. So happy to always be here, Paige Dauer, alongside Jesse Smithey. What's your favorite part of today's turf or field at Triple F?
Man, I like that we're right here and I can look over my shoulder over here. You guys can't see it, but there's football on, and up there there's football on, and there's a Bible study over there, and my son and his buddy are in the back. And but I know here in a couple of weeks volleyball is going to get started, and they're training, and there's so many different new ventures that Triple F is adding by the month. So I love the expansion of what they do and what they offer here to high school athletes, kids in middle school, younger than that, and even adults. There's so many things to get involved in here at Triple F. So check it out on the website. It's not hard to find. It's not hard to find out here off Pellissippi either.
Absolutely not. Before we walk through week 5, let's run it back to week 4. Such great performances by a number of area schools, starting with Scott High School.
Yeah, we normally do our shout outs at the end of the show, and I want to start it off tonight shouting out Scott High School. They're 3-0.
Yeah.
They're the Highlanders. They're way up there. They're way up there high in Tennessee, up there close to Kentucky. But they whipped up on Austin East last week, and Scott High took some beatings last year. Now they're kind of dishing them out, and that's kind of a cool story. So keep an eye out on Scott High School, 3-0, kind of sneaky good start there. Also want to give a shout out to Carnes High School, huge win over Clinton last week. That region is so deep, and so anytime you get a win is really going to bolster your chances towards making the playoffs. And Union County got a win over Cumberland Gap. I did not pick that one correctly on 5starpreps.com, and shout out to the Patriots up there. It's hard to get wins up there. They're trying to build under a new coach, and they got them one right there. So shout out to Union County. And I want to shout out one more person. This wasn't on the script. This just kind of came to mind.
Great, thank you.
Javiston Badgett. I've been saying Javiston. I've been saying Javiston his whole career. And I met him today and talked to him today, and he made sure to correct me.
But at least never.
And it wasn't like disrespectful. It was like, hey, Javiston. It was like, hey, Javiston. You know, it was kind of a cordial correction. And so I got to interview him. And so Javiston's been killing it this year for Central. That win over West, he had over 230, 240 yards receiving. So shout out Javiston.
Yeah, absolutely. And what were some of your favorite plays from week 4?
Oh, man, I've been filling it up on social media.
I know you have.
And there's 2 plays, 2 one-handed interceptions. You weren't around here during the Deion Grant national championship years where that one-handed interception he had against Florida. But these 2 really take it to that level. Taryn Clarity of Greenville, and I know Jared's going to run it. We screen grabbed this off of his social media and off of Huddle, so the angle's a little high and a little bad, but just absolutely jumps up, snags one over his head at Seymour, brings it in. And then the second was Vontae Scruggs of Carter. His is kind of jumping up in front of a receiver and then reaching back one-handed and bringing it in. It's just unbelievable plays. So I had to share that, and it's just kind of blew my mind.
Reminiscent of like week 1 of the college football season and all those crazy snags. So
it's unbelievable the athletes we have here. Gloves play a part of that. If they weren't wearing gloves, but still, it's unbelievable.
Go up and make a catch, you know? Absolutely. Well, let's go ahead and look a little bit more into some of the games that really stood out from last week. A ton of great storylines there, especially if you want to start with Grace and Silverdale. Grace is looking fantastic this season.
Yeah, you're seeing them rise in the rankings, and what they were able to do at Silverdale was mind-boggling. We've talked already on this show about them not having Terrion Thomas. Remember, he was the running back last year who ran for over 1,000 yards and had over 1,000 yards receiving. So they started off the year already without him. And then going into that Silverdale game, they didn't have their quarterback, their starting quarterback, Trayson Derry. He had, I think, a collarbone issue, and he's going to be out for a while. And so to go in to that game against Silverdale, who'd been whipping up on people, and to win that football game and winning convincingly. This wasn't just we happened to have just barely beat them by a point or two. So shout out to Grace Christian. I mean, that I was wrong. I didn't see that happening whatsoever, and they're going to try to prove some doubters wrong again this week. We'll get to that game later on.
What I liked about that game, too, is if we look back to the stats, it's Jackson Coffey. He had 12 tackles in the TFL. So not only did they have it on offense, they really brought it defensively, too.
Yeah, and defense is what caused some turnovers there on Silverdale's part and was able to kind of flip that game, and it snowballed in a hurry in Grace's favor.
We've talked about him so many times this show. Deuce Rogers, Powell versus William Blount. I was really looking forward to this game, but Deuce Rogers was absolutely the neutralizer in this matchup. He did it on the ground. He did it through the air. You'll find it in our next couple of games we look at. It was the week of rushing yards.
Yeah.
Deuce Rogers starts it.
Yeah, had a ton of rushing yards and all yards together, well over 320, 330 yards. I think with this passing.
124 on the ground and 216 through the air.
Yeah, I mean, it was unbelievable the performance he put on. And remember, this was the marquee matchup. We all thought this was going to be a really great game. Powell's defense came to play as well, held William Blount to 35 points below their average going into that game. But you're right, Deuce Rogers, since he has come back from that knee injury, has been phenomenal. Now, there are times where you see a noticeable limp, and we wrote about that in our story, but I love how he's laying it all out on the line his senior year and playing through it. You don't see that toughness nowadays. A lot of people are kind of taking extreme measures not to get hurt or further an injury, and Deuce is like, whatever, I'm a football player. Let's do it.
And speaking of 5-star preps, and if you're not subscribed to their website, definitely make this the week to do that.
Right.
Phenomenal stories, even going down to Carter and South Doyle, which you all classified as one of the most entertaining games of this season. How come?
How could it not be? It was an overtime thriller. There was so much drama that happened at the end of regulation that ended up sending it to overtime, but Carter got that win. And again, they play in a deep region as well. So a deep region of 4A football. Any win is a big win, no matter who it's against. And that was a good South Doyle team that they beat. But coming up this week is a kind of a chance to make a statement for Carter. We'll see if they can do that or not. But they didn't get caught looking ahead. They were able to finish off that football game and win that football game when they didn't have their best. You know, Carter's known for throwing the football, and they had some turnovers that night, but they were able to find a way to win. That's a mark of a good football team, when you can find a way to win when you're not at your best.
The other team who had a chance to make a statement was Heritage against Anderson County when they scored 2 touchdowns in 16 seconds.
Yeah.
But AC was like, no, not so fast.
Yeah, and Davey Gillum even said as much to us after the game. Like, there was a moment of concern when you fall down that quickly on the road, especially with a quarterback who's not really a quarterback, and you're doing some things with him. But they were able to bounce back in a major way and win that game convincingly. And I think there's a lot of people that are like, all right, AC's back. AC's back. They're back in the 4A contender conversation. And again, they play against Carter this week in a big 4A matchup. But that was for Anderson County fans, I'm sure, relieving to see.
Absolutely. And then we have Lakeway and Webb coming up in the show, too. We'll hear from Shavar Young of Webb School. What did you notice out of this game specifically?
Well, I picked it a 1-point game on 5starpreps.com. Lakeway winning 17-16, but it was not that way either. It was all offense in that football game and a lot of back and forth. And Webb had the lead, then Lakeway had the lead, and then Webb scored late and tried to go for a 2-point conversion to win it outright and just was not able to get it. So I like the call there. You were 0-3 going into that game. You had the momentum. Go ahead and try to win it on the road.
I like the aggressive call.
It didn't work out in Webb's favor, but for Lakeway, again, a program that's building under Greg Vandegrift, that's a huge statement win for them.
Absolutely. All right, well, coming up, we'll hear from Shavar Young, and we'll take a little bit of a look into Week 5 when we come back.
When you shop at Elliott's, your journey is our purpose.
North Knox Siding and Windows is a complete exterior home improvement company that can help you with all your exterior needs. Visit us today at 5618 North Broadway.
Welcome back in. Kind of where we ended the last segment, I want to pick up this segment there. Continuing to talk about Webb. This time they're going to take on Grace Christian. Webb's still looking for that first win. I think they built a ton of confidence last week, but is that enough to be the difference in this matchup Thursday? Yeah,
they need a win in the worst way. And when I saw Webb in the preseason, I saw a big offensive line. I saw a capable quarterback. I saw serviceable running backs with Shavar Young and GB Tate out on the periphery, out at wide receivers, and I saw a team that I thought could do really well this year, so much so that I had them in like my preseason top 10 or 12, but it just hasn't worked out that way for Webb this year. They're 0-4 going into this game against an undefeated Grace team that's seen all type of adversity, and they keep winning. So I think you see that wounded animal mentality come out in Webb. Now, looking at what Grace is going to do, it's hard to say, because when you go into a game without your starting quarterback, you're going to be conservative, right? You got a star running back in J.V. Stinson that you can feed the ball to, but when that quarterback plays that second game, do you expand his role a little bit? Do you let him throw the ball a little bit more? I don't know. So we'll see. I would say we see Webb try to stack the box as much as they can to stop the run and force this new quarterback to throw the football. I mean, that's just basic football principles that you're going to do. So I'm sure Grace has worked on pass plays all week to try to free things up with their run game, but that's the kind of the chess match I'm looking for in that one.
The next one, not sure how much of a chess match it'll be, but it's Central and Clinton. Decent series history, 26-14 all time in Central's favor.
Central absolutely rolling right now. Everything kind of going confidence-wise. Meanwhile, Clinton is trying to get up off the mat.
Right.
They lost a winnable game against Carnes last week, and they're trying to salvage their season, find a way to win a game or two they're not supposed to win in region play, and somehow get in the mix for a playoff spot. We know they have quarterback talent. We know they have wide receiver talent. It's just finding a way to get that first win. Sometimes you get that first win, then it kind of snowballs, and you start getting those feel-good juices back and that confidence back. But beating Central is not going to be easy at all.
Yeah, South Doyle and Gibbs is the next one. Gibbs has won the last handful of matchups, but South Doyle, they've looked pretty decent this season.
They have, and they can throw the ball really well at times, can run the ball really well at times. Just lost that heartbreaker last week against Carter, and we'll see if they can kind of rebound from that. As for Gibbs, they've exceeded expectations, I think, so far this year, and maybe don't win all that pretty. They don't have maybe your star quarterback in the air, your star running back, but they're coached extremely well. They do what they do extremely well, and it's going to be hard for South Doyle to win that football game.
Yeah, and if you want to take like a glimmer of hope too, I mean, they had a really successful drive against Alcoa as well in their first region matchup, so I think there you can tell how well coached they are. They seem like a very disciplined team, and maybe that'll carry them here. The next game to look at is William Blount at Halls. Halls leads at 6-0 all time. Does William Blount bounce back from the loss to Powell?
Well, we're watching to see if both teams bounce back. Remember, Halls is a team that, much like Webb, we had high expectations for. They're coming off of an off week. They went into that off week without a win.
Yes.
And we'll see what type of adjustments, if anything, that they do, right? They came off that loss to Powell and competed there in the second half to get back in it. But so we're going to see, are they going to make adjustments to the run game? Are they going to do something differently to kind of get the playmakers popping again and get them into the end zone and find a way to kind of salvage their season? William Blount took the first one on the chin last week. We'll see what they do to kind of regain that confidence level.
How about Catholic and the matchup they have with MBA?
Love this game. Matchup of two undefeated teams. Catholic, remember, a couple of weeks ago, they had never beat Lipscomb Academy and absolutely took them behind the woodshed and put a beat down on them. Well, they have, that's an old Tennessee and Southern boy saying. And but they've never beaten NBA either. Last year, I think it was a 24-23 game, something like that. So I feel like this year's version of Catholic is much better than last year's. So I'm probably a Catholic lean, but I really don't know what all NBA got roster-wise in the outset. They're from Nashville. I'm not really paying attention to them all that much, but they're one of the state powers, one of the bigger, stronger private schools in the state. So it should be a fantastic football game.
And what was a fantastic football game was when Webb and Lakeway were facing each other, and Shavar Young absolutely balled out in that game, did everything that team needed him to do. We'll hear from Shavar Young following that matchup and where his future is headed. We'll be right back.
When you shop at Elliott's, your journey is our purpose.
North Knox Siding and Windows is a complete exterior home improvement company that can help you with all your exterior needs. Visit us today at 5618 North Broadway.
conversion is no good.
I told you.
The Film Room is presented by Smart Bank. Play smart, bank smart. Smart Bank. For more information, visit smartbank.com.
To the walkthrough at Triple F, Jesse Smithey joined by Shavar Young, senior wide receiver, athlete, running back, defensive back, everything at Webb School in Knoxville. And Shavar coming back from break, we saw the highlights there from last week's game against Lakeway Christian, a wild game, 35-34. Yes. We see you a lot in that action, running the football. You're not a running back. I mean, you came up as a running back a little bit. I remember in middle school. We'll talk about that in a minute. But how's your role changed for Webb right now?
The coaches, they're just trying to find new ways to get me open space and get the ball. I kind of accepted on the role of like doing whatever I got to do to what's best for the team. And so if that's getting 33 carries a game, I'll do it.
Somebody texted me during that game, was like, hey, when Shavar moved to running back? And I was like, when Baxter Johnson got hurt, I think you probably came into the year thinking you're going to play on the perimeter, right?
Yes.
So I looked at your stats as a running back. The last 3 weeks, 506 yards combined, or at least the last 3 games, and 4 rushing touchdowns. Reminded me of when you were coming up as a middle schooler and running all over the place. I mean, is it kind of fun, though, getting to play running back a little bit?
Yeah, it's most definitely fun. I say, because the big guys up front, I couldn't do nothing without them. They paving the ways, making holes for me. So let me use my athleticism and get up through the holes.
In college, you'll play what?
DB.
Mm-hmm. When you were in middle school, and I remember Dre Matthew, family member of yours, texted me. He's like, hey, man, you got to watch VAR play. And so I found an online live feed, and I can't remember. Y'all were playing Macaulay or Baylor or somebody, and you were doing whatever you wanted to running the ball. Back then, like, what was the dream? Like, were you wanting to be an NFL running back, wide receiver? What did you want to do back then?
I grew up playing running back, doing running back drills with my dad and all that. But, like, as I got into middle school, I knew I wanted to play receiver, but they still had me at running back. And so I was making the best of the opportunity, my natural instincts. And so that's what it was.
I saw you at wide receiver a lot this summer, and I even talked to you about it just at the 7-on-7 camp at UT, and it looked like you had a burst about you, another level about you. How hard did you work this offseason and kind of make sure your senior year went off with a bang?
I worked very hard. I continue to work on getting faster, more explosive, but I think the most work was that I put into my body, to shed a few pounds, get more fit, and also keep the muscle. And so that's what I say.
I know the start for this year hasn't been great. It hasn't been exactly what Webb wanted. What's been the message going into this Thursday night game against Grace to find a way to turn this season around?
Let's build on the momentum from last week. Last week was a tough loss, but we played a lot better. Let's go out there and play with confidence. We still know we got a good football team. I just feel like we're starting to put it all together. So I feel like we will this Thursday.
Back to that game with Lakeway, you talk about playing better and doing some things better. Exactly what did you take away confidence from in that game?
I feel like we play with more effort. I feel like guys show more will to play, tackling, rallying to the ball. That's something we haven't seen in the past couple of weeks. And I feel like we've done that this last Friday, which I think will help.
Got Grace Christian coming up again. That's Thursday night. That'll be a TV game, I believe. It's kind of turned into a little rivalry game here with Webb and Grace. And what's that been like to kind of see it grow through your high school days?
At first in my high school days, in 8th grade, it wasn't a rivalry. We just looked over them, but it's starting to be fun. It became a rivalry this last year, and it's real fun. I'm going to compete against the guys like that.
Mm-hmm. Like we talked about, you're going to Clemson. I want to go back to this summer, and you put out something like, hey, man, big news coming. And I remember texting you about it, and I'm thinking, man, VAR's about to flip his commitment. I started making graphics for VAR going to this school and that school. And I was texting your mom, hey, is he going to change his mind? Did you, looking back at recruiting, did you have fun with it, or was it a stressor to you?
I view it as a blessing, seeing all my hard work and God's blessing. So I viewed it as fun. I didn't view it as stressing. I feel like if you view it as stressing, like, it's a bad thing.
So, and what ended up happening was you announced that, hey, I'm 100% locked in.
Yes.
What does that mean? Like when you have, like you'd already committed, but I mean, there were probably other schools still coming at you and trying to sway you.
Yes.
Was it just a need for you to say, I'm done with it?
Yes, I feel like it's just a need for me because, other schools are still coming in. I was starting to have second thoughts. I had to really sit down and look at the pros and cons and just think about it. And so I felt like I made the right choice the first time, so why not make it again?
Yeah. All those graphics, everything I'd made, I had to just throw away. I had you going to Oregon or somewhere else, but you're locked in with Clemson. But there's kids, 9th grade, 10th grade, 8th graders getting offers, probably maybe some of them watching tonight. What's one or two things that you learned in recruiting, maybe something you did wrong or something you just learned that you want to share with the kind of the next wave coming up?
One thing I learned is, everybody's journey is different. You may be popping right now or not popping, but if you just keep working, put your head down, stay consistent, your time gonna come, the work gonna show.
I love it. I mean, I remember the first time I interviewed you, you couldn't get more than 2 words out, and I was just like, man, we got some growing here to do, and now you're a seasoned pro up here doing the show with us live, and that's one of the things I love about covering high school football, man. Guys coming in, 8th graders, 9th graders, and by the end of it, y'all are ready to go play college football. Shavar, man, appreciate you coming out and doing the show with us. That's Shavar Young, Webb School of Knoxville. Catch him on Thursday night against Grace Christian in the rivalry Thursday game. Don't go anywhere. We got more to come right here on the Walk-Thru.
When you shop at Elliott's, your journey is our purpose.
North Knox Siding and Windows is a complete exterior home improvement company that can help you with all your exterior needs. Visit us today at 5618 North Broadway.
The Film Room is presented by Smart Bank. Play smart, bank smart. Smart Bank. For more information, visit smartbank.com.
I'm going to make an interesting comparison real quick. We have the NFL that has started, and one quarterback, Kirko Chains, and his nickname. Are we going to find something for you? I mean, this is the second chain he has worn on the show. If you missed the first
5
week,
weeks, yeah.
I might just have to retweet it with that picture I took of you live. Where's my phone? Another chain. Tell me about this story.
Well, I told you when I put on that MVP chain, it did something to me. Like, that was the only time I was ever able to put on an MVP anything. I was always like team captain, best free throw shooter, or something like that. So yeah. So best hustle award. So I felt like we needed another thing, but no, we had one of our photographers, Tanner Walker, photographer, made this. He had a 3D printer.
Incredible.
And it's legit.
It is actually very legit.
And
That's a perfect word.
I said, we'll find a use for it. You give it to me, we'll find a use for it. So
my idea, and you guys let us know, I think it should be the MVP at the end of the season of all the teams that you cover. The most valuable player should get this.
Okay.
I want you guys to also comment, but what do you think?
Yeah, I'm totally open to suggestions. So if you guys hit us up on Twitter, X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, wherever you're watching this show, let us know what we should do with it. My idea was like, if I go to cover a game, do I let them wear it during the interview? But then I have to take it away and I feel bad.
It almost needs to be like a turnover belt.
Yeah.
You know, just that they have during the game, like if you make like an interception or
So we had the
something,
MVP chain. We had the MVP chain. Of course, Cooper Newman got that
at the Football Classic.
And he got to keep that. And I did not like
maybe
parting
Tanner
with that.
Will have a new job, and that's all he will do each week. Maybe they'll be like, we want one every single week.
So if I would have given him that and let him wear it, and he wore it during the interview, and then I like had to take it off of him and said, no, I'm taking this home to give it to some. I mean, that's crushing. And so, yeah, so maybe we do give it away to somebody, but I don't know. Let us know out there what you think we should do with the 5-star preps chain.
You cannot let Jesse keep it.
I will keep it. Yeah, sorry. And I might have Tanner just make me my own to wear around the house.
But maybe the person who ends up getting it might be somebody from this week when we look over to our picks and how this week is shaping up. Of course, they have South Doyle and Gibbs. When we look at this matchup, which way are you swinging?
Yeah, I like Gibbs to win this game, and it's not because I don't think South Doyle isn't capable of winning this game. They have the quarterback play, and they have the skill position players to be able to do that. I can't ignore what I see out of Gibbs as a program on the whole over the last 6 to 8 years or so. Maybe I'm even shortchanging them a little bit. It's just a program that continues to get better and more disciplined, like you said, and just do what Coach Turner leads them to do, and that staff is really good as well. So I'm going to go with Gibbs on that one. Just kind of gut feeling.
Okay, Bearden and Hardin Valley, kind of two teams under the radar this season. One unexpectedly, that being Bearden under the radar. So like, what can you tell us about this matchup? What do we need to be looking for?
So Bearden is desperately kind of rebuilding, right? They lost a ton of players, and this was the game that I think that is that winnable game for them.
Okay.
Hardin Valley has definitely won some football games this year and shown some life in the second year under their coach. So I like Hardin Valley to win it, though. I mean, there's a couple times this year where I might have to get my chain to Bearden if I lose that. But I've liked what I've seen in their body of work this year more than I like Bearden's at this point.
Okay.
So I'm going to lean towards Hardin Valley.
Oh my gosh, that's definitely one we're going to have to like come back, bookmark that, come back to that. Clinton and Central. I feel like it might be easy, but who you thinking?
Clinton, man, I think you're going to see them fight extremely hard in this game and get the ball to Bryson Maddox as much as possible. But here's the thing. Some of Clinton's best players are their defensive backs.
Okay.
And they have two of the better defensive backs in the area. We talked about one in the first segment, Javiston Badgett.
Yes.
And then Torrin McAfee. Those guys have been killing it since their freshman years. They're seniors now, and I think that secondary is going to play a big role in this win. I like Central to win that football game.
Yeah, okay, I like that one. This one, always a good matchup. Harriman and Rockwood.
Rockwood, yeah, the state's oldest rivalry. I always throw that in there because I know you hate saying it.
I really do.
Everybody has their own tongue twister words, and I certainly have mine. But it's one of my favorite games because it's the state's oldest rivalry, and I can't tell you how many years it is now. A better host would have researched before the show. I did not do that.
Take the chain off.
But I love it. They make commemorative coin flips. It's just a big community versus community feel, and I love going to it. And Harriman's struggling, though. They got a new coach, and they lost some players in the offseason as well. Rockwood basically brought everybody back from last year, a team that made it to the second or third round of the playoffs. So I like Rockwood and the Tigers. Go Crispitos. That's an inside joke. They eat Crispitos out there at Rockwood. So, give me the Rockwood Tigers.
Okay, love that. The last game to look at is Webb and Grace Christian. I'm wondering if you think in this matchup, is Justin Price the difference?
Possibly. I should pull a game day in Herb Street and not pick this game because I'll be out there and I don't want to hear it from the fans.
Yeah.
I liked the confidence from Shavar Young. I'm still worried about how Grace will manufacture offense over the long haul without their starting quarterback and without Terrion Thomas. I think this is going to be a grinded out game. I think it's going to be a close game. I do think Grace is going to score because that's what they do with Coach Price. But I think Webb found a little bit, and Shavar Young kind of is explosive again. And it's going to be a fantastic football game, but I'll go with Webb. They're due for a win. I mean, they're due for a win. I mean, they're too good of a team not to have a win at this point. So just playing the probabilities here.
Yes, absolutely. Well, absolutely leave your comments on what we should do with this chain. Subscribe to 5starpreps.com if you haven't, and we'll see you next week.
This is the Walk-Thru, powered by Triple F Elite Sports Training. Train like a pro. Your all-access pass to the biggest games, hottest stories, and everything high school football in East Tennessee. From the Friday night lights to the chase for championships, we bring you the stars, the headlines, and every heart-pounding moment. So strap on that chin strap and get ready. Jesse, Paige, and the 5-Star Preps team are here with the most complete high school football coverage in the state. This is the Walk-Thru.
When you shop at Elliott's, your journey is our purpose.
North Knox Siding and Windows is a complete exterior home improvement company that can help you with all your exterior needs. Visit us today at 5618 North Broadway.